10 Advice from Henry Ford for young people who want to be rich. Though he had no formal degree, Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry and became one of the richest people in the world. Kind of him, Ford was able to give various advice for people who want to become rich. In this video, we'll be sharing with you 10 of the most inspiring advice from Henry Ford. Number 7 is very important, so make sure you pay close attention to it. If you're new here, consider subscribing so that you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Advice number 1. If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. Most young people tend to believe that there are external obstacles holding them back. Some complain about lack of college degrees. Some complain about the economy, while some complain about the government. Well, your number one enemy is what you believe is possible for you. No matter how terrible your situation is, if you look far enough, you'll see tens of people who had gone through worse situations and become successful. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. It's not about any external force. It's about the God inside of you. It's about your mindset. It's about your secret communication with yourself. It's about what you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning. It's about what you can say to yourself when you look at the mirror. To change your life, change what you tell yourself. Number 2. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Can you tell me about any great man whose journey to success was easy? Where do we get the idea that life should be easy when it has never become easy for anyone? That is what I discovered growing up. Life becomes easy for people who are willing to fight through any odd, while life becomes hard for people who expect it to be easy. Forget what you see in the movies. Overnight success is a myth. Things don't happen fast or easily. To go far, you have to go rough. Number 3. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. I read from Brian Tracy many years ago. If you want a new result, do a new thing. In other words, foolishness is doing things the same way and expecting different result. As a young person, if you don't like the progress you're making with your life, you really have to sit down and think about what should be changed. In another instance, if you look at people who have done what you are doing for the last 1 decade and you don't like the results they are getting, you have to change something. Let's say you're working for a company and you know people who have been working in that company for the last 10 years, yet they are still poor. Maybe you should have some deep thoughts. Are these people poor because they are foolish or because the company's reward system isn't good enough? Are there other employees of other companies you know who are doing well financially? Can you start your own business? Think, and think. If you are not getting the results you desire in any area of your life, try and figure out what you need to do differently. Number 4. Enthusiasm is the yeast that makes your hopes shine to the stars. Winston Churchill put it a little better. Success is going from one failure to another without losing your enthusiasm. It's amazing how many young people go through life without fire. It's amazing how many young people go through life without passion. It's amazing how many young people go through life without enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is as important as oxygen. If you need oxygen to be alive, you need enthusiasm to keep on fighting through the road that leads to success. Number 5. Failure is simply the opportunity for you to begin again, this time more intelligently. I'm sure you know the story of how Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times, yet he believed he hasn't failed at all. School taught all of us that failure is a bad thing, and that's why we go through life trying to get it right at the first attempt. Stop being unrealistic. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you'll fail more times than you'll succeed. Whether you want to be an athlete, artist, or a successful scientist, you'll fail much more times than you'll succeed. Most of the successes we celebrate today only happen after hundreds of failures. The fear of failure is the reason for failure. If you fear failure, you'll fail. Number 6. To do more for the world than the world does for you. That is success. To look at the world the way you look at your child. To have a sense of responsibility. To be willing to give more than you get. To see yourself as a little Messiah who will make the world a better place. That's the right mindset. Stop seeing the world as your debtor. The world owes you nothing. Start seeing the world as your creditor. You owe her everything. To do more for the world than the world does for you. That is success. Number 7. Most people get ahead during the time that others waste. I remember going to the library one day and met about 5 people of my age arguing politics and sports. After spending about 2 hours in the library, I felt so great because of the wonderful things I've learned. And as I was coming back, I saw these 5 people still there, still arguing as before. At the time when the TV was the main thing, an average American wasted more than 7 hours every day on TV. Now, it's the social media. Those 3 hours you're wasting every day on social media are the same 3 hours certain people within your age group are using to practice, think, and study about how to be great in their fields. Earl Nightingale said, "If you invest 1 hour every day to study on your field, you'll become a national expert in 5 years or less." The only resource you truly have in life is your time. If you waste your time, you are wasting your life. Get busy, get productive, read good books, attempt great things, experiment, make mistakes, and fail. Number 8. Thinking is the hardest thing there is, which is probably the reason so few engage in it. A friend once marveled at me when I told him that I went to think. What? Went to think? Most people rarely think, though they think they are thinking. If you are thinking, you'll question long-term assumptions, challenge the status quo, and come up with a better way of doing things. If you are thinking, you'll be full of ideas, and that will show in the way you handle your job or business because you'll be making changes and progress every week or month. Get to a lonely place, close doors, and put your phones in silence. Take a pen and a paper and task your brain to come up with new insights and create solutions. Number 9. There is no man living who isn't capable of doing more than he thinks he can do. According to some studies, most human beings use less than 10% of their potentials. Think about that for a moment. Think about how much we are capable of achieving with our lives. Only if we'll believe in such powers as we have. You are capable of doing far more than you think you are. Increase your standard of thinking. Upgrade what you think is possible for you. Number 10. Your vision without execution is just hallucination. If you've taken some time to listen to Tony Robbins, you must have heard him emphasizing the importance of massive actions. Talk has never done any good for the world. Only massive actions do. I understand that most people claim not to know where to start. In the reality, what you're trying to do is to figure out the right place to start, the right step. Stop deceiving yourself. Nobody starts right. Start wrong. Go ahead and start with whatever your mind can figure out right away. You'll make mistakes and a few failures, but you won't be a failure. In summary, if you want to be rich and successful, stop thinking you can't. Start thinking you can. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that it's normal. To get a new result in your life, you have to be prepared to do a new thing, even if that's going to be difficult. If you care about life, stop wasting time because time is the only resource you truly have. Your goal should be to make the world a better place. Don't see failure as a bad thing. See it as an opportunity to start again, more intelligently. Like oxygen, you need enthusiasm to go through the rough roads of life. You are capable of achieving far more greatness than you think you can. Most people don't think. Take time to separate yourself from the noisy world and think. Take massive and determined actions towards your dreams. You enjoyed this video, didn't you? We'd like to give you another interesting video for you to enjoy next. But before then, our team will be very happy if you can like this video and share it with your friends on social media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Look at your screen now to see 2 other videos we handpicked for you to enjoy next. We love you.